Okay. Hello, everybody, loved ones, emanators. I'm so happy to do this conversation, this interview with one of the most special teachers that I have, and I had in the beginning of my path, and I still have because I'm still learning so much with Karinna. I met her job when I was in Hawaii, 2016, and I was living there, starting my company and starting to study human development. And I found her work about Lemuria and astrology and healing, but I didn't have the opportunity to see her that time. And after 2 years, I came back to Hawaii, and I met her, and we had this beautiful healing, signature cell healing. Like I did a session with her, and also my Lemurian astrology map, and she is very special in this world, and she brings so much knowledge about our ancestors, Lemuria, healing the DNA, and all this information about the new era. And because we are now passing through this amazing time, but it's an opportunity to transcend and to discover who we are in a sense. I had to talk to her and invite her to do this podcast and this video for my YouTube and my podcast, because it's very important. And everything that she brings to the world, and also with Kahu, Fred Sterling, and all the family from Hawaii, it's very special, important, and unique. So thank you so much, Karinna, to stay to take this amazing time to talk to me. I'm getting better with my English.
Oh, you are. It's just wonderful. So perfect.
Thank you so
Oh,
much. And I want to present yourself and your work and everything that you feel now to present yourself for our loved ones, and we start our conversation and to talk about the new year, what's happening, the great shift, everything.
oh, thank you. Well, people ask me, Marcia, sometimes, what do you do? And I tell them, I teach people how to love and heal themselves and love and heal others. So that's basically what I've learned from my mentor, who you mentioned, Kahu Fred Sterling, and his guide, Master Guide Kirael. And the idea about this Lemuria, and a lot of people say that's a word that gets tossed around a lot, especially in Australia, because Australia used to be part of Lemuria as well, or I consider it still part of Lemuria. And you're going to see over here by the plant behind me this picture of the Hawaiian Islands in this book that we have. And this is the Hawaiian Islands represent the mountaintops of ancient Lemuria. So Lemuria was this huge continent 40 to 50,000 years ago that existed in the Pacific Ocean. And it was the home of these very benevolent evolutionary beings. And they stretched their evolution as long as they could. They went through the third dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, and that's just about all that this planet can handle. We're pretty much an evolutionary planet. And so they de-evolved. But what's happening now, and that might answer the question for some people, what's happening right now is we're going back the way the Lemurians did, and we're evolving from the third dimension that we all know so well out there, the yin and the yang, and then we're going into the fourth dimension, and it opens to the fifth dimension, a great, beautiful dimension of love and light. And so as we go through what we call the great shift in consciousness, it's about raising our frequency of love and understanding that self-love is the start to this evolutionary process.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot going on outside of you, but if you can focus inside of you and heal yourself first, you'll start to see your world shift all around you.
Yeah, yeah. It's very, very important what you do, and all the knowledge that you share, because as you said, Karinna, so many people are now asking themselves is, what am I doing here? Why all these things are happening? What is my purpose in life? And even when we talk about the ancestors, I have people asking me, okay, why they were so consciousness about life and energy, and now we are not. We are like, are we unlucky to be here? They didn't choose us to be, you know.
Well,
And
I mean, it depends on, I would think people give themselves a little more of a break, and say we're not conscious, but the person asking the question is probably working on their consciousness and is aware. So that's pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah.
But we are, like I say, in that process of evolving from the third dimension into the fourth dimension. And it's about it's a great shift in consciousness or conscious awareness. So
Mhm.
we're becoming more aware, but I can understand the situation that's playing out on the earth plane right now, that people can get really frustrated. It's it seems very chaotic, and they don't understand, why can't I do what I want to do? And then you said, why are we here, right? But I have to say that, and a lot of people don't like me saying this, but everyone on this earth raised their hand to come here at this time. So when the creator said, who wants to go to Earth? Everybody raised their hand, because it's such an amazing place. It's a place where we can evolve from this yin yang awareness, good and bad. And, this person wants this and that person doesn't want that, and whatever. We're evolving to a collective consciousness of love. And we have that opportunity on Earth. I have that opportunity on every level of consciousness, or in every planetary system. This is a very special planet. And we were chosen to be here at exactly this time. So then that begs the question, of course, people are saying, well, why the heck would I want to immerse myself in all this chaos when it feels so horrible?
Yeah.
But yeah, right. So we have to understand that I have to look at when I get, here's what I do. Okay. First of all, signature cell healing is the Lemurian healing modality that Kahu Fred put together with Master Guide Kirill for exactly this time in the Great Shift in Consciousness. And it's about self-healing. It's about healing on all four bodies: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So we have to know that we've got to get out of that physical, mental awareness and bring in our emotional body and the spiritual guidance that will help us evolve all four bodies to the fourth dimension. 4 bodies, fourth dimension. And once we are at that level, we can open to the 5th dimension of love. 5 in the Lemurian numerology is the number for love. So there's all kinds of Lemurian wisdom that I personally have benefited from for the last 25 years in working with Kahu and Master Kirill. And they have Lemurian numerology. We got the signature cell healing. I put together the Lemurian astrology, which kind of relates with it. But it's about discovering the blueprint in your pineal gland. So signature cell healing allows you, through the breathing, and there's a lot of self-healing practices that Kahu has put into the signature cell healing just recently, that the breathing activates the pineal gland with your blueprint. And that blueprint is the life plan that you put together before coming here. That's got all the answers that you want. And it's not for me to read that. I mean, I can tell you what I see there, and I can give you guidance in a healing or, in a reading, but you can read your own blueprint. You can access it through breathing. That breathing activates the pineal gland, and that cell, the signature cell, the original perfect cell, speaks to all the 70 trillion cells in the rest of your body, and they start to go, whoa, I can feel the love, there's something going on here, and that chaos out there. Maybe I don't have to go there. Maybe I don't have to be in that. Maybe I can create my own love awareness. And even if I'm in lockdown, I can find out, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Maybe I'm not supposed to be out there. Maybe I'm supposed to be in here, in my heart, and discovering, we could talk more about that, but that's really what it is. It's about going into our hearts and discovering the love for self that takes us through these challenging times.
Yeah, and also this when you start to discover that you are love, and through I received the signature cell healing session and I have the book, and I had all this information that when Karinna shared with me, and also Fred Sterling, and it's a big transformation. You feel, I remember we were doing the church at the church, the Hawaiian church,
Honolulu Church of Light.
Yeah, Honolulu Church of Light, and Fred Sterling called me to invite me to stay there to receive the energy in my heart, and I started to cry, and I never felt something like that. It's very powerful, and it's not just now. I think, Karinna, I'm gonna connect the question what you were saying. We are in lockdown, and all this transition are happening, and we have we are questioning more this, like, why do I incarnate here now? Why I said, okay, I want to go now. Like, need to be now. And when we get here, and it was like, wow, my God, maybe
what did I do?
I didn't know that would be so challenged, so like intense. And we are questioning it more because we are passing through this transition, this lockdown, and all this transformation, isolated. And I always say that is an opportunity for people to discover themselves and discover this love. And what is your point of view about this opportunity now, when we are not connected with the normal life, like, and we start to ask these questions: what I'm supposed to do now? What am I doing here? Why my body is here now, this time, not in the future, or maybe a little bit before.
Yeah, right. Maybe in the future past the pandemic or something like that. Well, it's a good question, because, like I said, we all raised our hand to be here, but why? And, there have been other great shifts in consciousness on this planet, and if you read the Lemurian Legacy book, Master Guide Kirill talks about the great shift, first life to common time. That was the third to the fourth dimension. So the Lemurians, this is why the Lemurian wisdom is so important, because they've been through what we're going through now. And so they went through a great shift between the third and the fourth and the fifth, and then the shift on out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So great shifts in consciousness happen on evolutionary planets like ours, but they don't always happen where you're in a body to go through it. So that means a lot of times the creator will just take ice age. The creator creates an ice age everybody gets off the planet and the world shifts to a different experience. Well, this time we are going through an embodied shift, and that's why it's extremely challenging. And when you feel, like you said, you had the signature cell healing session and you started crying, that's the awakening of your emotional body. And this is something that I know personally, for many years, the first part of my life, I tucked it away because I just couldn't. The family I was raised in that didn't honor any kind of emotions. The world in general wants you to use your mind and not your heart. So, I mean, when that started activating, I was like, whoa, this is a real great shift in consciousness, because I don't understand why I'm crying or why I'm feeling this way. But it's about the heart energy activating within us. And it's bringing that emotional body is the next emotion, the next body next to your physical body. So the love is coming out of the body and activating our emotions, which, according to the Heart Math Institute, they talk a lot about the heart brain and the head brain. And the heart brain has like 5,000, the neurons in the heart brain are like 5,000 times stronger than the head brain. And this is going to be what gets us through these times, is the heart wisdom. And that's what you talk about, the ancient people, right? The ancient wisdom. That's what they knew. They knew that the heart and your intuition and your guidance from the heart was what gets you through any kind of difficult time, because that's where the true wisdom is. So why are we here now? Everybody, it can't be just one answer. It's real simple answer is because we all chose to be here now, because it's an embodied shift and it's so special. It's something really, something we can really evolve. And this is the bottom line reason why we do anything. It's because we are aging our soul and evolving. We're evolving through love to age our soul. So we talk about signature cell healing. In that modality, that Lemurian healing modality, we learn how to heal the self and age our souls. So we are, if we, you see the people out there in the world, they're toting guns or they're robbing banks or they're doing whatever. Those are younger souls, right? And most of us, us and listening to this this interview, they're medium-age souls, maybe. They're medium-age, and we're working towards being older souls. So this is the purpose for why we're here. We're here on an evolutionary purpose. And sometimes it looks really challenging, because I'm thinking, why did I choose that? Maybe somebody says, why did I choose that relationship? Or how come I'm locked in my room right now? Each of us has to go into our own hearts and not ignore the difficult things that are right in front of us. Like, oh my God, I'm stuck with these people in lockdown. What's the reflection that I'm supposed to learn from? How can I be more and more in love with myself and let that reflect out to other people? So everybody's got their own answer to that question, basically.
And it's so profound. It's so deep.
Right. It is deep, because that's what it needs to be, because we need to heal these things, get over it, get past it, and get into the love, which is really sounds real simple, but it can be so challenging to be faced with, like we were talking about, the high people considering taking their own life. And being so under pressure and so perplexed, or really huge challenges, knowing what to do, right? Well, that's another lesson plan. The idea of ending a life, ending your own life, let's say, you have people who come upon that have come from other lifetimes where they've had that same challenge. They've come up to that lesson plan where they were so depressed or so unaware of what could I even do to get past this. And the only way out is to take my own life. That's the lesson, that there is love and the people around them love them, and they, to learn the self-love that says, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to find Marcia and she's going to help me get through this time, and I'm going to heal myself and evolve. Because you want to help people like that, because if they get in that spiral again, they'll just have to come up upon it in another lifetime, right? So we've got to help the people get through those difficult challenges right now.
Yeah, and also understand, like, bring this message for them to understand why they are feeling it, feeling depression, feeling, because as you said, Karinna, and as I've been receiving so many questions from my students and followers, like people like, why am I feeling this depression, these fears, this feeling to suicide and all these things, and it's very serious. I was telling you that I was listening this podcast, and the guy said that um, more than 35 people every day call the lifeline to ask help because they don't know what to do. They are in with this feeling to, like, I don't want to stay here, and this is very important because it's part of the process to heal something. And I said to you, I had this, even with all these tools, like healing tools and everything. I had this feeling to, like, I don't want to stay here, like, why I'm trying. And like, this was my thought, like, I'm trying so much, and I like, when this is going to finish. But there's people that, like, before, maybe they were thinking, I was normal, and now something is happening, I can't hold it, it's too much for me. And this is part of this transcend, can I say transcendation, or just to transcend?
Transcendence. Yeah,
Transcendence.
transcendence.
Yeah,
It is.
transcendence,
It is.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, but okay. I had also this situation when I was very young, when I was like 9 or 10 or something. I did want to kill myself. And it was because I didn't like myself at all. I didn't like myself at all. I didn't think anybody else liked me, and as a little kid, I was really overweight. I felt really bad about myself. And as I grew up, I started to change that. I started to have more friends that I liked, and I got better guidance. I came from also family upbringing. I had a really strict father. I didn't feel like anything that I did was good enough. And I was always questioning myself and thinking, I really screwed that one up. I better go back and fix it, and I couldn't get the idea of things being perfect. And so, I didn't really get into spirituality and meet Cabo Fred until I was in my late 30s. And, this is a long time to live a third dimensional life, and I really lived it. So, I mean, I understand now why at that time I was so depressed, and I just didn't love myself. And I know now that loving myself is the most important thing I can do. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you, maybe you aren't aware that other people love you too. But if I love myself, then I think, well, I'm a lovable person. I think other people like me too, or love me too. And it becomes a lot easier to get through the hard times, right? So I think a lot of people, there's a lot of self-judgment that's coming up for especially young people who want to live the life that they had before all of this chaos and all this messiness and everything. But, resistance to anything takes a whole lot of energy, and it can make you really, really sick. And it will weaken your immune system if you're constantly in resistance to what is. So if you are, like we've been here in Hawaii too previously, and we're still, restrictions and things like that. If you're in a lockdown, you're in a lockdown.
Yeah.
If you want a bucket, it'll throw you in jail, or I don't know what they're going to do to you. But accept where you are right now, you know, be in the present moment and ask yourself, okay, I'm here and there's only certain things that I can change. And maybe I can't change the lockdown, but I can change what's going on in my mind, and I can change how I'm feeling in my heart if I can choose better thoughts, you know, and think, okay, you know, what could I change? Could I do another career? Could I do an online course? Could I connect with people I haven't seen before on Zoom? Or, you know, could I establish a meditation practice or get in contact with my guidance? What can I do in lockdown? Because I can't change that. And if you resist something that you just can't change, that's going to make you crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, if we can go into our hearts and accept, okay, this is where I am. I love myself so much. I'm going to find something that will take me to the next level. And once this is over, you know, this lockdown thing, you know, the real severe things, life will change, you know, life will not be the way it was before because we're in a great shift in consciousness, bottom line. So if we're looking for the world as it was before, it's not there anymore. And it's not, we're moving forward. We're moving forward through this great shift. So to try and bring back the way life was before, you know, I personally don't feel that that's gonna be possible. What we're doing is creating a new life on earth, a new reality of love and taking care of each other. And that's one thing that's come through really strongly in this pandemic time, is taking care of ourselves and others. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, because it's more than now. The all these times are showing us that there is more than material achievements and everything. It's about how to love, how to take care of you and take care of others. And this is a good topic to bring now, like connecting with what you're saying, Karinna, about the great shift and new era. Because I always, when I say about new era and the great shift, sometimes people like, yeah, it's new era, but it's very chaotic. I like, it's a huge challenge. How is the new era? And the great
well, we're getting there, you know.
Yeah, and I say, we didn't say there will be like just flowers. So what is, like, being simple, like what is the new era, Karinna, and this great shift that we are passing now? Like, people are always, and this is important to know, like, also to understand.
Well, yeah, so we are moving through a great shift in consciousness, and moving towards that new era, right? So we have to shift the collective consciousness of as many people as possible on Earth to get this great shift into the, let's say, the deeper phases that allow for a fourth dimension. I mean, the fourth dimension is very close to us now because more and more people are discovering self-love and just healing themselves and realizing, oh, it's about love. It's about me loving myself. The old way would have been, let me just figure this out. You know, what's going on? Let me figure that out. But if we can drop down into our hearts and understand that I'm creating my own reality with my thoughts, and I can consciously create my world the way I want it to be. I can, you know, the news will play every night on my television or on the radio or on wherever I'm getting my news from. But if I don't turn it on, it's not like it goes away, but my focus is someplace else. You know, I want to be aware of what's going on. I'm just that kind of person. But on the other hand, if I let it get me depressed and it draws me down into it, then I'm not consciously creating this new world of love that I want on Earth. So I spend a lot of time, like a lot of people do, in meditation, sending light to Mother Earth, sending light to people that are having difficulties or challenges getting through, or I send light and prayers to, we do this monthly global healing meditation for Mother Earth, where people all around the world, a number of them from Australia, join us to create this weave of light around Mother Earth. And this is having an effect, making a difference on the vibration of the planet. So light worker groups and light worker people all around the world are making a big difference. So if we can focus on the good in the world, I think the good will get gooder, get better as we go through this great shift in consciousness, because we'll let go of the old way of thinking and the old way of doing things, like competitive, I have to be better than you, or I have to win this war, or people will begin to realize that war doesn't work. It's not something we're going to take with us into the new era. It's not going to be that way. So we have to let go of those systems and those processes that are still trying to hold on. And we let them go and move into this new era that you're talking about, the new awareness, the new dimensions of love.
And why do you think, Karinna, it's so important to bring the ancestor knowledge now, especially Lemuria? Because even when we talk about Lemuria, like there's some people that know, they know more about Atlantis and like our ancestors, like the Mayans, the Kahunas, the Aborigines, the Celtic people, Egyptians, but Lemuria, and why it's so important to bring back this knowledge, this wisdom.
Well, Lemuria when they went through what we're going through now, so that's why it becomes really important. The signature cell healing has all the things that we need to heal ourselves and to heal others in our family and our friends, or even distance, sending signature cell healing distance. But there's so much that the Lemurians can offer us in wisdom. And I'm just thinking, you talked about this book before, the signature cell healing book, right? And it's only ebook now, but in that book, and you said, what about the ancient wisdom? Well, in this book, and I was teaching this past year online workshops, first steps to signature cell healing, and then level 1, so you can learn the beginnings of healing, right? But we were studying these codes, and there are healing codes in this book. So these were brought back. So a lot of the ancient wisdom is not words that we would understand, but it's codes or symbols or things that remind us. And look at these codes. There are 9 codes in here of healing. And when you look at them, that when I was teaching the people, they were like, oh, this is activating something. So a lot of this ancient wisdom is not like verbal wisdom, it's heart wisdom. And it's communicating on the level of the emotional body and the level of the cellular consciousness. So as we access these things like the codes or the healing wisdom that comes from even the ancient, the ancient Hawaiians were connected to the Lemurians, right? So tapping into their ancient wisdom of how did they live their lives on these islands? How did they sustain their energies here and live fulfilling lives? When we connect into that, we're connecting into the consciousness of love that never left the planet. So it's still here. It's in our hearts. We brought it in with us. So each of us has this Lemurian wisdom. Kahu and Master Guide Kirill and myself, we're sharing what we feel and what we know that you can start with, but eventually you're going to access your own Lemurian wisdom and the own healing that you need inside of you. I'm just giving you the tools to do that, right? So that's why the Lemurians and the ancient wisdom is so important. And when we connect in it, they've left us messages in our own DNA that when it starts to activate, we're shifting ourselves. We're going to shift. And we won't even, it won't be anything like you have to think, oh, I got to shift. No, it'll just be an emotional thing that you shift, right? Right.
And it's very special when you say when you talk about Lemuria, Karinna, because um, even with the sacred portals around the world, and when you travel around the world, like when I was traveling to Easter Island, Hawaii, to Greenland, here in Australia, like so many sacred portals, they talk about they say the same essence about where they came. They came from the stars. They came, like they talk about Lemuria. They talk about the importance to be connected with all this fifth dimension energy. And you mentioned, when we were talking in the beginning of the conversation before we were recording, when you came here to the portal to Uluru, and you got connected with all the ancestors to help to shift some of these energies. And like Lemuria, like we are part of Lemuria, like Australia, it's part of
Yes,
Lemuria.
definitely.
And like I just would like to know more about, like, and to bring to people this knowledge about the sacred portals, and even the experience that you had here, that is very, very important to get connected with the sacred portals and bring back this knowledge, even in Hawaii or in Australia, and the experience that you had here in Uluru, just to, yeah, to inspire people about this civilization.
Yeah, Uluru is a very, very special place. And I was there in 2012 um, with a group of goddesses. And so that brings up the goddess light. And I think it's a good time to help people to understand. I'm also a channel for the goddess light, the Lemurian goddess light, and Pele Kino Ahane. And I have that on my website, different channelings from her and other goddess lights. But the goddess light is not male or female. It's the love of the creator that's inside of all of us. So all of us, each of us has a goddess light particle inside of our hearts that we can choose to awaken or not. So many women will, because it's about the double X chromosome, right? It's about the balance of all four bodies and the strong emotional body. It's a little more difficult for men because the emotional body isn't honored as much in men. But many men do activate their goddess light particle and find the balance on all four bodies. So the goddess light is so important because the goddess light is the energy that heralds a great shift in consciousness. So in Lemuria or anywhere around the creator's creation, when there's a great shift, when there's a shift from one dimension to the next, the goddess light awakens within the hearts of the people incarnate on the planet. So in this great shift in consciousness, there were 7 of us, 7 goddesses that awakened with Master Kirill and Kahu's guidance. And what we did was we started our spiritual journey, which you could probably identify with because you've done a lot of spiritual journeys, that it was time to release the matrix hooks, or the etheric hooks that were holding the third dimensional matrix, which is just a thought patterning to the earth. So when Lemuria shifted from the 5th dimension back down to the 3rd dimension, we, the goddesses, or whatever goddesses, and anybody listening, if you resonate to this, you were one of them, went around the earth plane and planted these etheric hooks to hold the thought patterning of the 3rd dimension, release the 5th, and bring the 3rd back to the planet. And so now, at this time of the great shift in consciousness, we were awakened to our purpose to go to places like Machu Picchu, Mount Fuji. We were in Moscow. We were in New York or Boston or different places, Japan, Taiwan, different places, also Uluru, to do ceremonies to release those hooks that were holding the 3rd dimension down, to allow the 4th dimensional awareness to come in. And
Wow.
this is what the goddesses do. And so you seeing me wear the purple scarf because I'm
Yeah.
a purple goddess. And there are 7 transitional colors for our great shift in consciousness, and purple is just one of them. So we were a weave of those 7 colors going to these places. But I also want to bring in what we talked about too before, was the elven energies.
Mm-hmm.
And the elven energies are so important now because they are the first energies that come into new planetary evolutionary processes. So when this whole 3rd dimension started on Earth many, many, many thousands of years ago, it was the elvens that came in with the angels to create the first humans, or to populate the continents and all around the world. So
Mm-hmm.
now we're feeling, if anyone's listening and you have elven guidance, and you know the elven are the ones, they're not the little people now, they're the ones like from the Lord of the Rings, right? The ones with the, you know, the bigger ears, and they're very, very powerful spiritual energies. And the goddess light is revered in the elven society. So this whole energy, this Lemurian energy of the elvens, the angels, the goddess light, that's active in our world right now. So if those of you who are a little more spiritually inclined and doing your meditations, get in touch with your goddess light and your goddess guidance, your elven guidance. They're very active with us now. And that is what we were doing at distance. We had one goddess on the ground in Uluru, and then we all, what we call shadow walked in there to assist in this raising the energy to the 4th dimension. So, you know, this creates a lot of that feeling that people have, though, that don't know we're doing these things. You know, like, why do I feel like this? And the whole world is getting squirrely. And, you know, this is the time for you, for everyone, to get in deeply into your spiritual practices. And if that means taking a walk on the beach, sitting down and breathing, but whatever you can do to center in your heart. I like to meditate, you know, and I do there's a 5 breath self-healing meditation that we teach in Signature Cell Healing. You've got to get into your heart and into self-love, whatever brings you into that space. That's where you want to be now. That's where you want to be.
And do you think, Karinna, that like this time, like we, before all this transcendence happens, now we are passing through this, let's say, cleansing, like
Yes.
cleaning the DNA, all the patterns, beliefs. That's why we're feeling so intense and deep. And when you talked about the the Lemurian goddess, the Lemurian light awakening us, also this awakening, we have the experience to face these fears and beliefs that we were holding before, to
Exactly.
also let it go and start to uh, um, maintain more and more in the highest vibration. But before, to get there to the real new era and connect with all these sacred energies, we are cleaning before. Is it like, can I say something like that? Like,
Yeah, I think you said it really well. It's really about, you know, releasing and letting go of old thought patterns or old lesson plans that just then you're not going to be able to take them into the new energies. Then you don't have these wars or fights with other people, or it's all about love in the 4th dimension. And there's you're not going to be able to take that with you. So might as well let it go now. So, you know, like you say, it is a process of self-healing, self-love. So really looking at yourself and saying, you know, I hate that person, you know, and then you say to yourself, I can't really hang on to that now, can I? You know, hating somebody else. What if you say, I love myself and I love that person too? And then ask yourself, does it matter? does this really matter? I mean, that you're so angry, or somebody's so angry with another person. Ask yourself, does it matter? Does my being angry with another person, is that going to change that person? That other person might not even be aware that I'm mad at them, you know? So you're the only one that needs the healing from that, and just say, it doesn't matter. I'm going to let it go. Find out what matters to you, what matters. And for me, I found out that love matters. And if I'm feeling angry, if I'm feeling frustrated, that's not love. It's something besides love. And if I'm not feeling love, then I need to look at that. I need to let the other thing go and say, this is in love for me. This is in love for me to be this way. And it will help me get through these difficult times.
Yeah, and it's a challenge because I remember I was talking with actually I wrote poem. Can I say poem?
Poem.
Poem.
Yes.
Yeah, about love, and I received this letter from this guy saying like, "What do you know about love? I hate this kind of love." Like,
Oh,
mad of
wow.
me.
That's a lesson for him, isn't it?
Yeah, he was very annoyed about my letter, my poem about love, and but before, if I wasn't aware about these things, I will get mad too. I was like, what are you saying? And now and now, like, when we start to understand that it's not about, it's not personal, it's about like maybe he not accepting love and trying to go against of these things and projecting something, because I was telling about love, and me, I have to accept that it's in his path and I'm in my path, and there's perspectives. That's why when people ask me why, what is this Aquarius era? Aquarius is very plural, and very, it's about not duality that we know, it's about
Higher knowledge.
different perspectives. Yeah. But why, Karinna, why it's this is a good question because I I have more women doing my workshops and everything, like 90% or 95% of women doing workshops and all these healing things. And why it's so difficult for men to receive this information or to understand or to get in balance with the feminine energy? Like, why?
Right. That's always been that way. When I was a manager for Kahu's workshops over the years, we always had about 95% women and 5% men. And the men were either brought along by their wives or girlfriends, or they were extremely spiritual and evolved, balanced men. So that takes us back to the goddess light and the emotional, awakening the emotional energy is easier for the women, and that connects them more into their spirituality. Whereas men are thinking, well, if it's all about love, I mean, what does that mean? And oh, is that mushy love? Or, you know, what's my girlfriend going to say if I'm saying it's all about love? Or, you know, they maybe don't have the allowance from society to be in their hearts and to be in truth with their own love and love themselves. It's always maybe the way that it's been set up in the third dimensional world is about achieving and hunter-gatherers and going out and getting something and bringing it back, you know, for the family and that kind of stuff. They're healing that. So men have to heal that aspect of what it's like to be a man. The women are a lot more comfortable in groups and experiencing things and sharing their emotions. So we're probably going to see a lot of that. But it doesn't mean men can't find that. But in particular, this guy that said that he didn't like your poem, I just think he wasn't able to see the beautiful, loving light that you are. And that loving light that you are just projected this beautiful light, and it reflected to him, and he had to look at himself. He had to say, he doesn't know it. He's thinking it's Marcia, but you're reflecting this beautiful creator light and love that you are back to him. And he is also that love and light.
Mhm.
Well, if he's not used to seeing that, it can be a real shocker for somebody to say, I can't be that beautiful. I can't be that perfect. I can't be, whatever he's seeing. I can't be that loving. Love is supposed to be, love hurts, or whatever they say about that, right? Love is something beautiful and nurturing, right? So I feel and good for you that you didn't take it personally, because it can't be personal. It's only personal for him in that case,
Yeah.
But, we all got to get to that point where we love ourselves enough to know what my truth is, and your truth, what the truth is. And anybody saying, for me, somebody saying something to me that they got on this newscast and this is the truth. I know that's not my truth, I know the truth is love, right? So that doesn't fit in my truth. So that must be yours, right? There is only one deep truth, and that is love.
Wow.
Love. That's it. Love. And how I evolve that love, as I continue to practice and evolve myself. And I'm not there yet. I mean, I'm still here, right?
We're
still working on it.
Yeah, I have 3 more questions that I really need to ask here. The like this one, it's about it's connected what we were saying about the masculine energy and the feminine energy. It's about now I've been receiving messages from friends, men, that they are now awakening more and more, accepting more these feelings and emotional feelings, and they are crying, they are opening more to spirituality and all these things. And also we are having all these experiences with a woman, with the empower woman, and all this information about our uter and the creation, and beautiful workshops, and women saying more about our cycles, the moons and everything. So when we is your point of view, of course, but when we start to put this feminine energy more and more in the planet, do you think we start to embrace this masculine energy, and they can open and feel comfortable to heal? Do you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Your point of view about this healing, huge healing?
Yeah. That's so beautiful the way you said it too. And think about the roles of men and women the way we've had it up to now, right? So women are the double X chromosome. So if you look at the X, right, think of the 4 bodies and think of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual on the X. Well, the men, this differently. The men are the Y chromosome, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it. I have a good slide for this. if they're the Y chromosome, they're missing this part of the X, right? So it's X and Y. So they have an XY, but they have one that's missing a leg, basically. There's a leg on the X. And that's the emotional body. So, I mean, in signature cell healing, we believe that the signature cell healing is activating your love, your self-love, and your emotional body. So you're activating your emotional body, including, especially now talking about men. They're going to extend that Y. They have, we even call him, that's an extended Y guy, because he's more emotional, right? He's becoming more comfortable expressing how he feels. and, you know, and honoring women's feelings, right? Not shutting out what the women are saying, because like you're saying, in ancient wisdom, many of those were matriarchal societies, and the women were the leaders and the elders that were listened to and looked to for the great wisdom. So this patriarchal society that we've had for so many thousands of years, that's, for me, it's an anomaly. I mean, it is just something that we've had in this third dimension, and the goddesses, the women, have stood back to allow for this third dimension to play out, for us to have, everybody to have their evolutionary experiences. Everything that's happened is an experience in that third dimensional light. And the men, you know, as the patriarchs, have been in front of the women. But when the great shift happens, like I said about the goddess light, the women come forward now. We're not going to stand behind the men any longer, because we are the leaders of this great shift. So look at the great spiritualists, and you will see a lot of really predominant women coming forward now, and you are one of them. You know, the women are coming forward, and you're leading a whole group of women forward, young women, and young women that are saying, wait a minute, why can't we do this? Or why are you telling me this? What about what I want? You know, so especially younger women that didn't grow up, you know, in the generation that I did, you don't know what I knew, what my parents knew, and what my grandparents knew. And that goes back to the beginning of the last century, right? Well, so many people are born in this century now, and they don't have awareness of that kind of thing, and kind of think, well, why don't we do it differently now? So this is that a part of that great shift in consciousness, that yes, the women are coming forward, and yes, the men are going to step back now and say, I think what we've been doing hasn't worked, and let's see what the women have to say.
Yeah. And work together.
Yes, and actually work together. Yeah. But you know, it will be, you know, they will need to step back for the women to, in some cases, to step forward. We will work together, but the men, I think what they'll do is take on, the women will embrace the men in this way, but I think it's more like the men embracing the women, and how a women's way will work for them as well.
Yeah, giving support and being
supportive
to do the work, and
right. And I think if we believe in that, if we believe we deserve that as women, and this is the way I'd like to live my life, you're going to attract those kind of people into your life, you know, a partner that way. This is my mastermind. This is what I want for my life and my world, to see more supportive male energies.
See, can you listen to the podcast? No, but this is very important. Yeah. And Karinna, I could stay here talking to you like for hours.
Wonderful to talk to you.
Yeah. I really want to ask you to say a little bit more about your work, Lemurian astrology, and of course, signature cell healing. It's so important.
Wow.
And the books and everything.
Oh, thank you.
We need to know.
Let me get to because we mentioned the Honolulu Church of Light, and Kahu Fred and signature cell healing. And I kind of look at that as a trinity light. And so there is the original space that I became aware of was the Honolulu Church of Light. And we are going to be getting a new website, but you can access online services. It's a spiritualist church, a healing ministry on the first and third Sundays of every month through Kahu Fred Sterling's website, kirael.com. So Kahu is my mentor and a great spiritual teacher. His guide is Master Guide Kiro, who has guided me for 25 years. And so that's another part of the Trinity. Kirael.com, KIRAEL.com. And then the Signature Cell Healing website is all brand new, and that's where you can find the ebooks and just lots and lots of MP3s at really reasonable prices. And that's a new website, signaturecellhealing.com. And I have my own personal website where I do readings and healings and goddess readings, astrology readings, channel readings. And that's all brand new. That's a brand new KarinnaNielsen.com website. So, I invite you to explore all of these things because it's all connected to this Lemurian wisdom.
And I did more than like 3 or 4 times. I don't remember the Lemurian astrology for me and for my company, my friends.
It's fun because you get to see your blueprint. You get to get an idea about your plans for being here. And so I think it's a great compliment to the Signature Cell Healing. I wanted to also say that every first Saturday of the month, I do a free webinar from my website on Zoom that anybody can come in and you can ask your questions. And we're just on there for about 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm happy to see everybody every month. And we will be doing more Signature Cell Healing online workshops, which could interest people in Australia that are in lockdown. Well, we'll be getting into that early next year to do more of those.
So next year, maybe you're gonna open to new.
Because we're gonna make all the websites new and update everything there, and then we'll have online workshops again. And I've done special ones for people in Europe, so we could do a special one for people in Australia with the right timing, right? So I'd really be happy to.
Yeah, me too. I'll be here.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We'll do something else together.
I really want, like, it's so important. It's so nice, the energy, and also the books, like
yes.
If you can show again, just
you've seen the Signature Cell Healing. This is an ebook, and I know Australia, the prices to mail books down there are just outrageous. So everything is ebooks now. So you can have that, and this one will answer your questions to what's going on, just basic questions and basic energies about the great shift in consciousness. And there's a picture of Kahu Fred on the back. And then we have here's the cover of the Lemurian Legacy book, and that's an ebook also. And then there's 2 other books that are available on there. So there's like 5 books that you just go on and have a look and see. 4 of them are still in print, but everything is ebooks. And you still get the energy of it. The Lemurian Legacy tells you a lot about that. Another good one is the Guide to the Unseen Self book, which I may have a thing here. Yes. The Guide to the Unseen
Self. I have this one too.
Because it's a basic book with questions and answers about, relationships and karma and, what's happening to our physical bodies, more DNA strands, what's going on. That's a very good one. And then the one that is actually a favorite of mine is
this too.
Genesis Matrix book, which explains a lot about the matrix energies. It came out right at the time of the first Matrix movie. So it's really good because it explains, how does that work? How does a matrix get released or get planted, or how are we operating in the matrix or out of the matrix? So that's another good. So those are the books that I helped publish when I was in Lightways Publishing for Kahu Fred Sterling. And that's what I base my teachings on as well. Of course, the signature, there's also an ebook online for the 5 breath self-healing meditation and a couple of videos that you can watch. But the Signature Cell Healing, this book has pretty much everything to get you through the first steps to Signature Cell Healing that we teach online.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's actually our textbook for the first steps and the level 1.
Mm-hmm. And it's
So you can,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, it's a great feeling. And it's the healing modality for the great shift in consciousness. And it's a Lemurian healing modality.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it feels so impactful for people.
Yeah, it's life changing. When I read, it was like, yeah, I also bring like I can remember lots of like all the chapters like now because it's so strong, so powerful, the message, and so true. What the energy, the consciousness of the book and the channel means. So it's very important. I recommend for you and like for you that you're listening and watching this video because it's if you never get if you never got in contact with this information, or if you are in the past studying, it doesn't matter if you don't understand anything, or if you understand, it's for everyone. Everyone, I always say it's for everyone. If you're listening to this now or watching this video and all this interview, everything, and it doesn't matter if you're starting this path and you're like starting to question some things about yourself, or if you're in this path for years, it's for everyone. It's a highest energy of love there, and it's very important. It's going to make a difference in your life, really. And thank you so much,
Oh, you're
Karinna.
welcome. I really want to thank you, Marcia, because I want people to know there's hope and there's a way to move forward from where you find yourself right now. And don't give up. If you are in a really challenging space, there's so much love that's waiting for you. Just connect into your heart and connect with Marcia because he has so much love to share with you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Marcia.
Thank you so much, Karina. And if you want to know more, I will. I know Karina told here all the books. I will put here on YouTube all the cards, like the links. And if you're listening the podcast, I will put in the when I describe the podcast, I will put the websites too for you. And thank you so much, Karina.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you
welcome.
so much.
Thank
Was
you. Mahalo
amazing.
nui.
And I hope you, all the emanators and my loved ones, you could receive this inspiration and love from this conversation. Thank you.